What's up guys, welcome back to a new Kengan Omega chapter review. Today we have chapter 84. I also uploaded another Kengan Ashura video a couple hours before this review covering everything interesting I found in my Kengan Ashura reread. But onto the chapter. When the Raws first came out, I was honestly a bit disappointed with this chapter. This is mainly because I wanted to see a Gaoh Mukaku flashback from Gaoh Ryuki in the next chapter. They were hyping it up with Gaoh Mukaku being mentioned the chapter before, so I was hoping this next chapter will get to see Gaoh Mukaku properly in the story for the first time since the Kuroki and Oma talk, which would be absolute hype, but sadly it's not. It's Naiden backstory, and once the English translation came out, I actually quite enjoyed this chapter. My goal for 2020 was to reach 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so be a mad lad and subscribe alongside these other cool things. Now, enjoy the video. Chapter 84 with the title Eye of the Sky. It starts off with Naiden being 15 years old and talking to his master, with him being trained by this very same master for 6 years, which is a pretty impressive amount of time. We got him holding multiple horses back with his sheer strength alone, which is very impressive indeed. And then we learn that his master is an upper class fighter of the worm, which is pretty cool. Naiden grew up as an orphan. At the age of 15, he entered the worm on his own volition. His master was an expert in Mongolian wrestling. His first 3 years of training were spent on improving his basic fitness, and we learned that he was also training with other students at the start, but he was the only one who made it to the end of this training, so it must have been pretty hard. And I'm guessing all these people ended up being worm members possibly, but they weren't ready to become upper class worm members like Naiden ended up achieving. Okay, that's enough. Yes, master. And we got him actually toppling the horses with his sheer power, showing how much he had gained over those 6 years of training. Your power was timed perfectly. I see you've opened your eye of the sky. Yes, master. Now for your final trial, face me in combat, prove your worth and earn your seat in the standing army. And then we got Naiden pretty much destroying his master, killing him with relative ease. This is his words after killing him. Thank you, I don't need you anymore. After killing his master, Naiden was promoted so that he reported directly to the head. So another upper class worm member trained Naiden to be a even superior class worm member apparently. So I'm guessing that's what they do to, weed out the, high class members of the worm to the low class member, and that Naiden has proved himself to be a worthy high class member, and that's why he can report directly to the head. So pretty cool. We got Naiden's backstory. I think that's all we're going to be getting in regards to Naiden's backstory. We may get more worm information later on in the fight, but I don't think we're getting anything more relating to his backstory. That pretty much covered everything we really need to know. So we cut back to the fight. Gaoh, going everywhere, showing that he has pretty decent speed, but Naiden still being a more passive fighter, not really being the aggressor, this countering everything Gaoh Ryuki's throwing at him, with us getting some Gaoh Ryuki in a monologue telling himself to go faster, and we get to see some insane, I'm assuming it's advanced level foresight for the most part, where we see Naiden having a bird's eye view on the match with this, hacks mode cheating version of himself floating above the fight. And then we get an explanation of this technique after Naiden absolutely destroys Gaoh Ryuki again. A bird's eye view. Only the top class of martial artists can reach the state of surveying the situation from a bird's eye view, a state they refer to as entering the zone. Naiden was able to attain his bird's eye view at will. This was the secret behind the eye of the sky. So I'm guessing all his training he did with his master over those 6 years was for Naiden to attain this, supreme technique, which is, as we see right here, quite powerful and maybe even hacks worthy. And his power was dispersal of power. Ryuki's power isn't reaching him. This is Kogi in absolute shock. What the hell did he do? We got Yamashita realizing that he can tell, showing that his eye may be, similar to Yamashita's eye and everything regarding that, and that Kogi is getting stronger, a lot stronger from just watching these fights and showing how much he has improved, which is always good to see. We get Oma saying it's different, with him saying the following: my redirection kata and the old guy that fought Julius Tomodo techniques work by diverting the opponent's power off its target, and with this little demonstration at the bottom, add your own power to the redirection opponent's power to get damage like that. While Naiden's redirection version is different, but that guy's exerting force on Ryuki to disperse his power. Guess you could call it a hard redirection. I think what he means by hard redirection is that it's harder to pull off or be consistent with this redirection, or that it may be even stronger, but I do think it's harder to pull off with this redirection. redirection, and it may be not as good as the redirection him and Towamuda use, but pretty cool. Has a different form of redirection kata, which is even more hacks to his already hacked Eye of the Hawk technique. And also last chapter with Gaoh stating that only Julius Wakasuki and Ryan could best him in terms of physical strength. So Naden is turning out to be an absolute monster. He's absolutely destroying Ryuki throughout this fight, and we see that Ryuki is actually scared of him, with him saying, "I can't beat him," showing that Naden is an absolute monster. Grabs him with one hand, lifts him up, starts to choke him. "Are you still hesitating? Come on, I know you're stronger than that. This is your last warning. Come at me like you're going to kill me." It's kind of like Naden's maybe training him. If he was super serious about the fight, he would have just ended Ryuki like at any point in this fight. He has had many chances now, and it still shows us that he's kind of toying with Ryuki at this point. So it's kind of similar to how Kuroki and Rei's fight went, with Kuroki kind of training Rei in their fight. So that's just a little interesting thing I wanted to point out. We cut to the last page of the chapter, with the chapter being only 16 pages. We get to see some of Team Purgatory. We get to Nicholas Lee banner. "Hey, is it over yet? Just kill him and get it over with." We've got other Purgatory members saying he's not supposed to kill him. And then we see Lu Dongchen kind of confused about what Naden said to him prior to the fight, and we get to see what he said. "I'll see you in the Azura Sky," which Azura Sky pretty much means a clear sky for the most part. So I believe Dongchen is just very confused by what Naden meant by that. And then the final panel is Dongchen saying, "Naden, what are you going to do?" So he's very confused about what he said to him. I think that's mainly due to him also being another worm member, and by him saying, "I'll see you in Azura Sky," is this kind of confusing to him. From what I gathered by just thinking about it a little bit, is that maybe because Ryuki's been killing all these worm members over this time, causing an issue for Worm with him killing them, maybe Naden killing Ryuki will, result in the clear sky for Worm or something for those regards. But if he really wanted to kill Ryuki to get rid of him, he would have done it by now. With him kind of just toying with him and trying to get Ryuki to unleash his full power and everything he's capable of, that may be due to Naden wanting, to have a good strong fight against someone who has immense power within themselves and, to test his own power. Or could be maybe because Naden is a traitor himself and wanting Ryuki to see what he's truly capable of, then for him to actually turn on Worm himself. But yep, that's just some little interesting things I noticed. Let me know your thoughts of this down in the comments. And yep, that's it guys for today's chapter review. Hope you enjoyed. And that's it guys. Peace.